Hello, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Taylor and today we'll be starting my trans rights readathon vlog for 2026. But before I open the video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you love all things books. First, a little housekeeping. Yes, the hair has just been done. It was nice and, salon curled yesterday, but then I slept on it, so now we get what's left over here. But the purple is back, baby. We have a little bit of some highlights in there. Yes. But the Trans Rights Readathon for 2026 starts officially on March 17th and it runs through March 31st, which is the Trans Day of Visibility. If you don't know anything about the Trans Rights Readathon, I will put all the links in the description box down below. You can follow them on Instagram, StoryGraph, TikTok, all the places. And this year there is a bingo card for us to follow for 9 different prompts to engage with on StoryGraph and that bingo card for the whole 2 weeks the readathon is going on. But essentially I have 3 books that I recently bought that I am going to be reading for this readathon vlog situation. However, will I make it through all 3? I don't know. I haven't been reading as much as I would like this past year, but it is spring break this week for the college campus. And despite all the essays that I have to grade from my students, I should have plenty of free time to read. But these are the 3 books that we're going to tentatively be getting to, and that is, first off, Self-Made Boys by Anne-Marie McLemore. See if you can't see that. We've got a glare. Thank you. This is a T for T Great Gatsby remix or retelling following, well, if you don't know anything about The Great Gatsby, then I don't know if this is spoilers for you, but obviously we're following Nick and Gatsby, and both are trans masculine people living in the 1920s, and lots of craziness ensues from there. And Great Gatsby is one of my favorite classics. However, it's one of the only classics that I have read, so Then, by a non-binary author, we have You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akweke Emeze, and we're following an artist who is still recovering from the grief or the loss of her loved one 5 years later, and she's being, pushed to get back out there by her friends, and of course she has one night of, sensual sexual debauchery, and then, of course, lots of things happen from there. And I'm so curious. Son of the Morning, also by Akweke Emeze, which you can read for the Trans Rights Readathon, was my first 5-star read of the year, and I just kind of want to continue those vibes, even though this is a contemporary and that one is a romantasy, or a paranormal romance. I'm not really sure how you officially classify that. And then one that hopefully we will also get to the movie for, I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. We are following a non-binary teenager who comes out to their parents and is kicked out, so they are forced to live with their estranged older sister and her husband. And of course, along the way, while they're at the new school trying to be under the radar, they catch the eye of this cute little boy, and things go from there. And those are the 3 books that I'm tentatively going to be reading. We may read more, we may read less than that, who knows? But I'm also hoping to get a few movies in for the Trans Rights Readathon. I am filming this intro on March 15th, and it doesn't officially start till March 17th, so I'm probably just going to run as long as it takes me to finish these 3 books. Well, realistically, I would like to finish them before Sunday, just because I would like this video to go up on Sunday, but yeah. So I guess next time you see me, I will have a little bit to talk about one of these books. It is Tuesday, March 17th, so therefore it is the first day of the Trans Rights Readathon, and I started, or at least the first book I started for the readathon is I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver, just because I think this might be the shortest one on the TBR I've picked for this, but also it has a movie associated with it, so I want to finish it and watch the movie as soon as I possibly can. So I Wish You All the Best is a YA queer fiction / romance. I mean, it is pitches and romance because we have Nathan, who I believe is going to be the love interest, but just to break down the story. So in this story, we're following Ben, who comes out to their parents as non-binary, and they are immediately kicked out of their house, and they are forced to call their estranged sister, who left them 10 years ago due to also having problems with their parents, and now they're living with Hannah and Hannah's husband, and they're at a new school, having to make new friends, go all new classes, all happening in the last semester of their senior year. And while they're there and struggling with, anxiety, depression, all sorts of shame, and rejection that just like deep-seated within them, you know, after what their parents did to them. They're also currently having to handle the fact that Nathan, the boy that was assigned to show them around school, seems to be insistent on becoming friends with them. And I will just say Ben is like so like locked in their own world, like so believes that no one else could be queer besides them, or that anyone in their small town, even though they're now in a bigger city, could be queer. And it's very obvious to me, and of course the readers know, that Nathan is gay. Like, Nathan is in love with Ben. Like, I can see it. I'm only halfway through. I'm 50% through the book. But yeah, it's like, Nathan, babes, clock what's in front of you. Clock what's in front of you. I know it's just a lot of like mental turmoil that's going on there, and there's a lot of other things that is going on in this story outside of the romantic element, but as a romance girly at heart, I'm just like, oh, it's gonna be interesting to see when that hits. But also it has one of my favorite tropes, which is like artist and muse, and that one of the characters is an artist and draws the other. Yeah, or in this case draws and paints the other. I love it. Give me a little Klaus Michelson. What is his name from Maxton Hall? I can't remember. Although I actually haven't finished Maxton Hall Season 2. You can tell I'm delayed and behind on certain things. But that is my update for today. I don't know if I'll read any more tonight, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna try and finish this tomorrow, because I would like to finish all 3 books for this readathon in 6 days, because I would like to get this blog up on Sunday. Can I do it? We'll see. I officially finished I Wish You All the Best last night. Now, I did try to film a clip last night. However, it was very blurry in and out. I definitely do think that I just need to turn autofocus off, because autofocus and I have been fighting for like a month now, and you think by now I would figure out that I just didn't have it on. Also, I do have makeup on this morning. However, my allergies, while feeling slightly improved, I don't know if it's crooked or not. The camera kind of just started to lean there. Okay, but while my allergies are slightly improved, they're not amazingly better. So, but I'm not as tired as I once was. I've also found that this is on streaming, but I'd have to purchase it. So we will see if I want to spend the extra coin to purchase it, because I've already got a bunch of movies I plan on seeing. Either way, I end up giving this book 4 stars. I will say my allergies and just my general health right now has made it hard to enjoy things to, I feel like, the fullest. So I feel like I probably would have rated it higher had I just not been like extremely exhausted and like congested and everything else going on at the time of reading it. But this book made me angry, it made me sad, it made me happy. I was like kicking, giggling, and screaming, like a little tee-hee moment, especially when we finally got the love confession. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to say other than the first book is down. I have to go to work in a few minutes, and then I will see y'all later tonight once I've started the next book. It is Thursday evening, and I've made it through just about a third of the way through You Made a Fool of Death for Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emeze. And let me just say, I've wanted another spicy, sensual, kind of messy, erotic romance from them, and this one has definitely been delivering. However, if I had taken the time to read the full description on the back, I would have known that this is a age gap, like, not ex-boyfriends, but current boyfriends or current situationships. Dad sit. So essentially we're following Faye. 5 years ago, her husband died in a fatal car crash that left her basically, for the most part, unscathed physically, but scarred emotionally. So we kick off the book with her 5 years later trying to put herself out there. And she starts to catch the eye of this guy named Nasir. And Nasir is really looking for a long-term relationship, and Faye is just like, I don't know about that. He's kind of like her gateway into what could be a potential long-term relationship. And then, of course, Nasir decides to bring her home with an incredible work opportunity, and there she starts to realize that she might have some sort of attraction to Nasir's father. Yeah. Ooh, is this gonna be messy. I don't know if I'm gonna read any more tonight, because we'll see, but I'm definitely planning on finishing this tomorrow if I'm staying on schedule. But so far, it's definitely going to be above a 4 stars. Well, it depends on how messy it gets. Because I like Nasir, but there have been moments where I'm like, oh, are we about to find some things out that make him look not so great? not so good. And also everyone in here is, well, for the most part, everyone in here is a little fruity. So not only is this the trans rights readathon, we're also, well, let's face it, nearly every trans rights readathon, not only are they somewhere on that gender diverse, or somewhere in the genderverse, as I like to call it, but they're also somewhere in the fruity-verse? Fruity? I don't know. But yeah, no. Plus, I'm also just loving the... This book may make me cry. It depends on how deep they go into that exploration of grief. Like, I Wish You All the Best really talked about trauma and active trauma and getting over that experience. But this one is talking about, like, long-term, like, lived-in, like, scarring, heavy trauma and how to move on after traumatic loss. Oh, man. Maybe hitting a little too close to home. But you know me. I love a book about grief. Grief in books, if it's explored well, just like in Legendborn, it's possible 5 stars. So will Kweke Meze give me 2 5-star reads this year? I don't know. But I'll give y'all more updates, hopefully when I finish the book, but maybe before then. It is actually Saturday morning, because, real talk, I got home yesterday from work, and I passed out. Like, full on, did not wake up. And then when I did wake up, it was like 1 in the morning, and I didn't finish this book until like 6 this morning. But when I did finish it, I was feeling all sorts of things. Aline Blake. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about her getting with Nasir's, dad. But after all the things that Nasir pulled, not going to discuss them. Yeah, I was like, yeah, Aline makes sense. This was a beautiful, messy love story that also heavily explored what it means to return to yourself, to pull yourself out of a dark place, to kind of live in the messy, dark, rageful, sad parts of yourself. It was not quite a 5-star for me, just because I feel like there were a lot of moments, which I understand because it is like showing her like kind of finding love and like dealing, like learning to accept these things, that she can be loved again and that she's worthy of love again years later. But there were a lot of moments where Faye was just kind of pulling away from Aleem, and it just kind of felt like, and it kind of felt like that was getting dragged out. So I gave it 4.75 stars. I don't know. It's somewhere in that 2 to 3 chili spice range for me. It's not quite as spice heavy as Sun of the Morning was. But just kind of reading this book, it gave me the same sensual, steamy vibes that it felt like reading Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. It was just like a thorough line of like, this was just hot. Like, it was a thorough line of, even if there wasn't anything spicy going on, you kind of felt that undercurrent of like, oh, okay. I was like, I can see the attraction brewing, and like just a level of like, and this is just like an adult, like for the adults, like, I will say, if you're not a fan of age gap, this one might not be for you, and if you're not into a little more taboo messiness, may not be for you. And obviously this goes without saying, check your trigger warnings, because obviously on the back you can tell that deals a lot with grief and stuff like that, and there's some things that get pulled in this book where I'm like, okay, just needed you to know in advance. But it is Saturday, so my goal was to finish this vlog by tomorrow. So we're gonna try and make it through Self-Made Boys by tomorrow, which surprisingly, these 2 books look longer than I Wish You All the Best, but they're actually shorter. So I did start with the longest book. So maybe that'll help me, because this is just barely over 300 pages. This is a T for T Great Gatsby remix. So that sounds very interesting to me. However, I have read The Great Gatsby and I know how the original one ends. So I don't know. We're going to get a happy ending here. At least with Pride and Prejudice retelling Most Ardently that I read last year, I knew that there was going to be some semblance of a happy ending. This one, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to have a romantic, like, happy ending here. But yeah, I will update y'all when I have more to say. But I'm also going to see Project Hail Mary in the next hour, so I probably won't be starting this or picking this up at least until like this afternoon. But we're going to try our darndest to get through this book by tomorrow evening. So it is Sunday, and have I finished this book? No. Have I barely started it? Absolutely. I'm in fact only on page 24 of Self-Made Boys by Anna Marie McLemore. And I have just decided that I'm going to extend this reading vlog longer than I originally thought, because the Trans Arts Readathon technically runs until, next week. So realistically I can continue reading this and still not be outside the bounds of the readathon rules anyways. So yeah, so you're going to be seeing a different video today, March 20 something or other. And you'll be seeing this on the following Sunday or whenever, so on and so forth. But just to give you a rundown, we are following Nicholas Caraveo. So this is a Great Gatsby remix, and we're following Nicholas, who has come out to his parents as trans. They've helped him transition, and now he is moving to East Egg, New York, where New Money is, to be a quantitative analyst. And he's been invited there by his cousin Daisy, who he discovers upon first meeting that she is essentially, I don't know if she's bleached her skin, but she's whitened her skin, lightened her hair, and is basically trying to pass as a white woman in a rich society that doesn't really accept people of color and queer people in general, but you know, the color of your skin is something that they can see first for Nick and Daisy. And Daisy is basically saying, Nick, I kind of need you to corroborate my story that I am a rich white lady and you are the son of a former maid. And yeah, that's basically where we are right now. And now Daisy's kind of a complicated character in the original Great Gatsby story. However, in the first couple scenes in here, I'm like, oh, Daisy. Ooh, I feel like I didn't dislike you this much when I read the original story, but Daisy in this story, no. But I am curious to see when we can get into Nick and Gatsby interacting, because I think that I thought this was going to be a romance, but I don't think it's going to be a romance. I mean, the original Great Gatsby had romantic elements to it. However, that wasn't the point of the story. So I don't know if this one will actually be a romance. I don't know if Gatsby and Nick are going to get together. However, if they do, just saying, that would be cool. That would be cool. However, I don't think I'm going to be putting too much of a dent in this today, because yeah, it's that time of the month for me, so I'm already feeling a little like in general. So I will give y'all some updates when I have actually anything to say that I've But right now we're only 24 pages into a 300-page book, so. It is, what day is it? It is a Wednesday, so almost a week later, a little bit longer than a week later. I'm going to sling this book around. But I just finished Self-Made Boys by Anna Marie McLemore. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. I will say, I think I've mentioned this before, I feel like within the last couple months I've become a little bit more discerning in how I differentiate and rate my books, even though I still think I'm not the harshest of raters or graders, as I have discovered, especially after grading 50-something essays last week. Whoo! Still reeling from that. But yeah, this one was a good book. It technically was a romance, even though it's not marketed as a romance. However, it's kind of like, I will just say, does it follow the major plot points of The Great Gatsby? Yes. But is it a lot happier, I would say, than The Great Gatsby? Absolutely. This one also doesn't just mix in the, queer identities, trans identities. It also adds in the element of race, with Nick being, Latin American in the 1920s, and what that means to be in his position and be where he's at in the city, and what that means for Daisy and everything. Yeah, everyone's a little gay, everyone's a little queer. You know what, we've got T for T going on here. I don't know if there's much more to say other than that is the end of the Trans Rights Readathon vlog. I am also still in the middle of listening to the Stonewall Reader, but I'm not going to update y'all on this video. I will save that for a TikTok or YouTube short video. But just know that I am definitely still interested in that. But I don't rate nonfiction, so I feel like it won't be that interesting for me to talk about. So in terms of my recommendations, my top recommendation for this video would be You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, just because that one had me enraptured. Followed up by I Wish You All the Best. I feel like that one is a very much so starter pack trans rights readathon book. I feel like that is a quintessential must read for everyone. And then I would give my last place to this if we're ranking the books. But this one was still a good book. And I am interested to see about all the other books in the little, classic remix series. But let me know what you ended up reading for the Trans Rights Readathon, and if you didn't get a chance to join this year, hopefully you'll get to join next year, and I will see y'all in the next one.